official. We're on.
Hello, YouTube.
So up to this point, we have been graphing equations, right? I've given you an equation, and we found out that an equation is a line, right? And all the equations that I've given you so far have been straight lines, right? And that's on purpose. That's what we're working on first. Eventually we'll move into parabolas and some radical lines and some exponential lines and different things. You'll start to get to know different types of graphs, right? What different graphs look like. But right now we're just focusing on straight lines. Now I have said in the past that there are two, I don't even know if I've really said this. I think I have. See, I used to teach it differently, so I'll say two. There are really three useful ways to write straight line equations. There are three useful ways. Two of them are the ones that I'm going to focus on right now. And the first one is slope-intercept form, right? The second one is standard form. Standard form is where I have like 2x plus 3y equals 10, right? Remember that? And so you find the x and y intercepts to graph it, things like that, right? That's the second one. The third one is called point slope, which is kind of a freaky kind of an equation. Y minus y1 is equal to m times parentheses x minus x1. And it freaks everybody out. It's actually one of my favorite equations, but I find that a lot of high school teachers don't let students use it. And that's why. So I'm putting less emphasis on it, but I will teach it to you, but probably I want you to know these first two first. But when you're actually graphing them, it's really easy to graph any of those. The slope-intercept, the standard form, or the point slope, piece of cake to graph any of them. Now, when somebody gives you a line though on a graph, and they say write the equation, the easiest way to write that equation is in slope-intercept form, by far. Definitely the easiest way. And so that's what we're going to focus on for now. Writing an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Now sometimes I'll give you a graph like we did on the homework last night. And I just drew a line and I said, what's the equation? And you have to figure it out, right? But sometimes I'll give something to you in words, and I'll ask you to do something in words. So if I said, number one, this will be our first example. Write the equation of a line that has a y-intercept of -10 and a slope of, I don't know, 2/3.
Maybe 2/3 x.
No. The slope is just the number in front of the x. It's a good question. The x is actually just...
Is it bad that I would have
It's
been
just
really
there,
happy if that was
but the
correct?
slope is rise over run. It's not rise x over 1.
Okay.
It's rise over run, right?
Would it have been really bad if I was so happy that I was correct? If I was correct? Like, that'd have been bad.
You ask a lot of great questions, so you have nothing to worry about. You're just like awesome. Okay, so somebody had their hand up here. Tia, maybe? No? Oh, Mira?
I know how to do it.
Oh, okay, hang on. Do you want to check in? Why don't you check in? And then, I just don't know. She usually would text me. All right, so Mira, help me, since you know how to do it.
Okay, so if we do the y-intercept is -10, right? And
Yes.
so what's the last part? So we do y equals and then anything?
Right. So let's just write down our slope-intercept form. Y equals what?
X plus b.
All right. And what is this again?
That's the.
And what is this?
The
It's
y-intercept.
Okay, so go ahead. Keep going, Mira.
Okay, so then that would be y equals 2/3 x minus 10.
Right. Now, could I have put plus -10?
Yeah.
I could have. But usually you don't do that. You know, usually you don't
Because
have
then it
two.
starts getting confused.
Yeah, you don't.
It's-
I mean, you could do plus minus plus minus plus minus plus minus plus
It's-
minus 10,
Wouldn't
right?
it?
But it just gets confusing, right? So we want to simplify. So I agree with Mira in that it would just be minus 10, right? Yes, Ben.
This is sort of a what if question. What if the formula was mx minus b? Would that make the minuses positive?
Mhm. Yeah, it's a
But
good
that's not
question.
the formula.
And that's not the formula. But the reason why it's a good question is because eventually when I move into point slope formula, that is point slope formula. This is not part of the video, but that's okay. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Those minus signs make
Positive.
the point look opposite what it is, right?
So it turns it into a
And
positive.
it's so, yeah, exactly. So if you have a negative, it becomes a positive. If you have a positive, it stays negative, right?
So it'd be
So-
y plus y
yeah.
equals mx plus m.
Right. But I'll explain that too as we get further along. I love that formula. It's if you know that formula, it's really, really helpful. You can do things very, very rapidly that, like things that we're going to do today, will take longer, just a little bit longer, not a lot, but it's a little. But the point slope is like you have an answer immediately, right, for some of these things. All right. So fifths to 5. Do you get that? Does that make sense? Right? It's so easy. It said I have a y-intercept. Boom, that's going to go there. And it says I have a slope. Boom, that's going to go there. Now, it's not always written that way, though. Sometimes it says write an equation of a line of a line that. So this is now number 2. Write an equation of a line that crosses the y-axis at 7 and has a slope of negative 1/3. So now, how is this different? Is this? Yeah.
Crosses. It says crosses the y-intercept.
Which is what? The y-axis.
Y-axis. And that means that it isn't necessarily one,
Keep going. So it's a straight line. It crosses the
it
y-axis.
crosses the y-axis, but
Is there any difference?
no.
No, it's the same thing. When it crosses the y, he had the right answer. When it crosses the y-axis, that is your y-intercept. That is where it intercepts the y-axis. Does that make sense?
So y-axis is the y-intercept.
Not the y-axis, but where it crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. Think about it. If you've got a line, if you've got a graph, and you have a line, it crosses the y-axis right there. It's intercepting the y-axis there. It is the y-intercept. The same thing. So that is really just a different way of wording the exact same kind of problem. Does that make sense? Crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. Okay? And then the slope is that. So, Anna, help me finish this. What is the equation?
The equation is y equals negative 1/3 x plus 7.
Beautiful. Nice. Right? Pretty straightforward, right? So far, this is really easy, right? Really easy, right? You'll get done with that part of the homework like in no time. Okay. So, can I erase? I feel like I need another black pen. This one's starting to get a little faded.
Michael, did you take a picture?
I need another eraser something too.
the video.
Try this pen.
Because of your high-res screen.
Okay. Now, what if I said this? Find. So this is number 3.
Are these the homework questions?
Yes, these are the kinds of homework questions that you're going to see.
They're not the actual
They're not the
answer.
actual problems. I'm making them up on the spot
Okay.
as I do them on the lecture. Find totally, that is a way you could do it. That is totally a way you could do it. It's just that you don't always have the space to draw a great big graph and plot the points. So the question is, what is that formula? Gideon, what is that formula that we learned?
Oh wait, that we what?
That formula. Okay? So Ben had this brilliant idea, right? He said, find the slope of the line that passes through those 2 points. And Ben said, oh, that's really cool. We could just draw a graph and we could plot those points. And I was saying, this is my y, this is my x. And I was saying, that's great. It's just that sometimes they don't give you enough space to draw that graph, right?
Can't you just make the extra space on the graph, or like draw?
You could erase all the quiz problems. That's a great idea. You could erase them all, and then you'll have all this space to do your graph.
No,
Not the best idea, but it's an idea. It's possible.
No, I meant like you could just add on to the graph
Wait, I hear
and
it.
just draw a line using the pencil and add the extra space that
Yes.
you need.
So what you're saying is totally fine. And actually, if you're ever confused on how to solve a problem, do it that way. But I taught you a formula. Now, Lila, what would it be?
Delta y over delta x.
But what's the whole formula? Mira.
It equals
It?
delta
M. Oh, M.
equals
M equals
delta y
delta y.
over delta x.
Okay, delta x. Okay. And what does delta mean?
Oh.
Cassie. The change in, right? And what does change mean? What operation does change mean you do? Gideon.
You add or subtract.
No.
Which one?
Subtract.
You subtract, right?
Yes.
Right. If I woke up this morning and it was 20 degrees, right? And now at 10 o'clock almost, it is 50 degrees. What's the change in temperature?
30.
How did you get that?
And then subtracted 20 from 50.
Right. So he did 50 minus 20. Subtraction is what change means, right? So delta immediately tells you, oh, there's going to be one of the y's minus the other y. And one of the x's minus the other x. Now what did I also tell you to do before you actually solve this? Cassie. Yes, or you could put a box around one of them. Okay, I usually choose the one with the bigger y. That's just my habit, right? Because I have a greater chance of doing something with a positive number than a negative. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to put a box around this, right? Okay, so what do? So Mira.
8 minus.
So I'm starting with this y. This is my x, this is my y. I'm starting with that y. 8 minus, because change means minus, right? I got to write that and then a minus sign.
And then minus 9.
And then I got minus 9, or
And they
negative
come
9.
together to make a plus.
So
sign.
those minus means
Plus.
plus. So I'm going to change that to plus. Okay, keep going,
That's
Mira.
17.
What?
17.
Right, but do this bottom one.
Oh, I'm smart. Okay, and then you do 2
Okay,
minus 5.
minus 5. Good, because 2, and then the change means minus, and then 5. So then what do I have? A plus 9 is 17, you said? Over 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So my slope is really negative 17 thirds. Right? That's my slope. So you guys remember this? Right? Remember this
So
formula?
then that's the.
So then the answer is y equals negative 17 over 3.
No.
Y
That-
is, oh, wait,
How do you
wait.
plot sin
No,
negative
okay, well, actually,
Y.
you're right. You're right. That would be, but did I ask you to write an equation?
No.
No, all I asked you to do is find a slope.
But if we want to, can we write the equation?
You could. This would not be the best one to,
Oh.
Ring ring.
glad that didn't happen when they were here.
Ring ring.
Ring,
They
ring.
just left. And then it starts.
Ring ring. Ring ring.
Stop, please.
Answer.
Your phone is ringing.
We
Hello?
realized that. No
Hey.
way.
Are you Anybody?
What that happened?
Okay. All right, great. Well done. Thank you. Bye. Okay. So, all right. So does that make sense? So I did not ask you to write an equation for this. All I asked you to do is find the slope, right? Now, what happens is sometimes people see that and they say, oh, he's talking about the slope-intercept formula. No, I'm not. That's just the slope formula, right? That's just the slope formula that I'm asking for there. But let's say, now let's do one more problem. Let's make this 4. And then let's say I did this. We'll just practice one more. So we'll do different points. So we'll get rid of this. Keep that. Okay. So we got find the slope of the line that passes through. Let's do something simple like 2, 9 and 1, 8. Okay. So what would it be? Somebody different. Michael. All right, which one am I going to draw a box around?
The one on the right.
Okay.
The left.
I would. It doesn't matter. It really actually makes no difference.
The left.
But he's saying left, and that's definitely the one I would have chosen. Right? I would definitely choose that one. Just could be. It's likely to be easier. Okay, help me. So what do I put in the Michael?
You would put the 9. Oh, sorry. Oh, not -2.
Wait.
-8.
9. That's the y minus that y. 9 minus 8 over
Over 2 -1.
2
Okay,
minus
I'm
1.
on track now. I swear.
I'm on the track.
Okay. So what's the answer?
The answer is 1 over 1.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Good.
You're
All right. Now that was part A.
Actually answer something.
Now part B of this question. Can you guys be quiet? So part B of this question, it says now, oh, okay, so we found the slope. So now it says now use, how did I write this? Use one of the given points use one of the given points, where am I? To solve for B in y equals mx plus b. So let's think about what I'm asking. In this problem, I go back to A, they gave me 2 points. They gave me 2, 9 and 1, 8. I can use either one of those points. And I have to solve for B in order to write my equation. Because think about it. My equation is y equals mx plus b, right? And I already know the m. The m is 1, right? So I could say y equals 1m plus,
What x?
I don't know what the y-intercept is, do I? So how can I, did they give me an x and a y anywhere that I could substitute in so that I have a b?
Yes.
Okay, what is my x and y?
Your x is whichever point you choose.
Whichever point you choose. You can choose this point, or you could choose this point. Doesn't matter. Which one do you want to choose?
I want to choose the one with box around.
Okay, let's choose that. So this is, 9 is my y, right? So instead of, well, let me just write y equals mx plus b. Actually, we know that the m is 1, right? Because we figured that out. M is 1. So now we're going to replace the y with 9. 9 is equal to 1x, sorry. Wait a minute. 1 times 2. You with me? Plus b.
No, I am completely lost.
Okay.
How
Alright.
did you get 9?
Look what this says. Now use one of the given points to solve for b. Now, I have an equation here.
Why did
If
you
I
get
have to solve for b, and it's one equation, I need to have all the other variables to be real numbers.
Wait, why
Well,
do you have?
why do you
I-
have 9 and not 2 or 1 or 8?
Because look, here's the point. And what is this? That is an x. The 2 is an x,
Okay.
and the 9 is a y.
Okay.
The 1 is an x, the 8 is a y. I could have chosen either point. But Mira said, let's choose this point. And instead of saying y here, I'm going to say 9. I'm substituting the 9 in for the y.
So
Equals 1 times, instead of x, I'm going to substitute the 2 in for x.
Okay.
And then now
Okay.
look, that gives me only one variable, which is b.
Why is m turned
That's
into 1?
And then
Because we said
solve-
m is 1.
No,
Oh!
that's 7.
We already
Duh.
solved that in part A.
I'm
B
smart.
equals 7.
So we got, now let's do it simply. 9 is equal to 2 plus b. So we're going to subtract 2, subtract 2. B is equal to 7. Okay, so C, all right, we solved for B. So C is, write the equation. Write the equation.
Which number is this on the paper?
Is that on the paper? Okay. So what is the equation?
No, I mean on the worksheet.
What's the equation?
There.
So London, help me. What's the equation?
Um,
So notice, we now know what our B is, and we now know what our slope is.
That's supposed to be y equals 1,
Yes?
x plus 7.
Plus 7. Beautiful. Nice job.
Look, we did it.
That is the equation.
How did we get one?
I know, but I'm still talking
All right.
about-
So does that make sense? Fist to 5. Do you understand this process?
Yes,
So-
but how did we get
So the
Oh,
first thing
oh
we did,
God, I can't-
when we're asked to find an equation of a line between 2 points, listen, you're going to need to know this.
Yeah, I'm just being
You have 2 points. The first thing you need to know is what is the slope. So you use the slope formula. M is equal to delta y over delta x. And you find your slope. Then you put that slope into your y equals mx plus b. And then you have to solve for b by using one of those 2 points, the y and the x of that one of those 2 points. Solve for b. Once you solve for m and b, you're ready to write your equation. Okay? So last example. Last example. The way I wrote it was sort of scaffolding you guys, but that's not the way you're going to see it most of the time. The way you're going to see these most of the time is this. 5. Write the equation of a line that passes through, let me think, 2, 8, and 1, 6. Let's try that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that'll work. So this is a multi-step problem. In order to solve this, you have to do a few different things, right? I'm asking you to write the equation of the line, all right? I would always use slope-intercept form, right? So I know I'm going to use y equals mx plus b, right? Well, let's see what they gave me.
But you need to find out.
Well, I don't know my m yet. I've got to find my m and I've got to find my b. I don't know either one of them. So I have to find my m before I can even begin to find my b. So I got to find my m. So I write m is equal to delta y over delta x. I'm going to choose this one to put a box around. Okay? And so I figure out my slope. It's 8 minus 6 over 2 minus 1, which is 2 over 1, which is 2. You with me?
Yeah.
All right, I found my m. I found my m. I now have to find my b. So to find my b, I'm going to substitute that m into the equation. Y is equal to 2x plus b. But I need to solve for b. I've got to have something for x and something for y. So I'm going to choose one of these 2 points.
8.
We'll do this. Which one? This one?
Yep.
All right, so we'll say 8. This is my x. This is my y. It's always in alphabetical order, right? So your y is your second one. 8 is equal to 2 times your x, which is 2, plus b. Now I've got only, my b is my only unknown, which is great. Piece of cake. So I have 8 is equal to 4 plus b, right? Subtract 4. Subtract 4. I have b is equal to 4. So I'm ready to write my equation because I have this and I have this. So my equation is y is equal to, that's my slope, 2x plus 4. And that's my answer. But that was a multi-step problem. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, so that's it. So we're done.